Thank you, Wes. Thank you all for being here. It is fantastic to be in Braintree. I've got very fond memories of this part of the world because 16 happy years ago I got married just down the road in the Fens. So that's why it's got this special place in my heart. And almost as good as that, this is where 2 weeks ago, at the local elections, the Labour Party was back on the march in Essex. But today I'm here to speak about something that's fundamental to the Labour Party, fundamental to our purpose of working people, the NHS. Just look at it. The 8 o'clock scramble, the appointments missed, opportunities missed, to spot the pain that turned out to be a tumour. Patients who want to go home are well enough to go home, but who have to stay in hospital for months, waiting for a care package. Day-long waits in A&E. Record numbers off work, sick. People pulling their own teeth out. 7 million on waiting lists. And ambulances for heart attacks and stroke victims that don't come on time. Just think about that for a second. Ambulances that don't come. Can any of you imagine losing someone in that way? I can't. And I mean that in every sense. I can't imagine it. It shouldn't be possible in our country, but it is. A cruel lottery of who lives and who dies that the NHS was founded to stop. And until now, until this point, for 75 years, it has. It's one of the greatest privileges of being born in Britain, certainly for all of my life. The knowledge that if you get ill, if you have a serious accident, you'll get the care that you need, whatever your circumstances. Not every country has a system like that, and the insecurity, the fear without it, is huge. Nye Bevan, the Labour Health Secretary who created the NHS, put it best. He said, "Illness is neither an indulgence for which people have to pay, nor an offence for which they should be penalised." That's what we believe, and it's under threat. I mean it. I don't think the NHS survives 5 more years of Tory government. And people say, oh, well, we've heard this before. The Labour Party is always saying it's time to save the NHS. But I say, look squarely in the eyes of the people who work in the NHS, who serve the NHS, and ask them. Speak to the working people who use the NHS, who depend on the NHS, who need the NHS. What do they say? And go to the people who believe in the NHS, love the NHS, but have been forced to buy the care they need from the private sector. Listen to them. No, at the next election, the NHS is on the line. The Conservative Party that's brought it to its knees will put it in the ground. But mark my words, if all we do in the Labour Party is to place the NHS on a pedestal and leave it there, that's not good enough either. We've got to fix the fundamentals, renew its purpose, make it fit for the future. That's what this mission is about, a new direction for the NHS. To say to the British people, vote Labour, problem solved, would be an insult to everyone's intelligence. Patients can see how deep the problems go. My approach is different. It starts with the cause, the central project. How do we serve working people? And then it asks, what do we value? What do we conserve, cherish and protect? The answer, a public and universal health system, free at the point of use, paid for by general taxation, the NHS. But then it asks, what do we need to change? What are the challenges, the opportunities? How can we save lives, improve lives, provide more dignity? Innovation, where can it be found? People, how do we unlock their purpose? Technology, how do we make it work for us? And when you've asked those searching questions, you turn back, you roll up your sleeves, or you face reality. And the reality is this: the NHS is not sustainable unless we make serious, deep, long-term changes. That's my politics. Reform for renewal, national missions for the common good, and NHS fit for the future. Now, some people will tell you it's purely a question of money. And money is a part of it. I don't deny that. Like any opposition, we will set out our plans before the election. And like any incoming government, we will make decisions based on a full appreciation of the reality, the state of our NHS and our public finances. But what's more important now, I really believe this, is to show our recipe for reform, to put forward a vision of a renewed NHS that can make the most of the money we invest in it. I've run a public service. I know that money makes a difference, but it only gets you so far. You can't look at the problems now and tell me it's just about money. That's not serious. You can't ignore the fact the world has changed. That's denying the evidence before our eyes. The British people are living longer. Life expectancy in 1948 was 68. Today it's over 81. That is a good thing, but it brings new challenges. The nature of disease is different. Instead of urgent and acute hospital care, now it's more about managing chronic long-term conditions. The wonder of science has taught us, with ever-increasing clarity, that our health depends on how we live. Mental health has stepped out of the shadows, and thank goodness. And with artificial intelligence, with personalised medicine, with new vaccines, we stand on the cusp of a revolution that could transform healthcare for the better. My message today is this: science and technology are the game changers. This is the prize. This is what it gives us. An NHS where prevention comes first, where care is closer to home, where patients have more control. So, to everyone working in the NHS today, serving on the front line, I say thank you. Thank you. Without you, there would be no light at the end of the tunnel. But I also say the walk towards that light will be hard, will feel challenging, difficult. But do not doubt it's essential, and that the reward for reform will be worth it.